And we are live. Welcome in to Pickaxe and Roll, brought to you by us at Mile High Sports here at number 38. I am your host, Ryan Blackburn at NBA Blackburn on Twitter, part of the Mile High Sports Podcast Network, and I am here. I am ready to talk about the Denver Nuggets. Unfortunate loss last night for the Nuggets, in which they were controlling throughout. They did a really good job. It felt like the Cavs were going to give them that one, but ultimately was not meant to be. But I am joined today by, once again, a very special guest, somebody who is pulling his weight on this show and doing a lot of great stuff and being a great producer for us here at number 38. It is Danny Bailey. Danny, how are you, sir?
Good to be with you. Happy New Year. And hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and let's kill 2026 like the Nuggets are about to. I'm doing well. I didn't get to watch much of the game. I was still recovering from New Year's, but
man,
I wasn't surprised by the result.
Pretty
lie about that.
Pretty tough New Year, huh? pretty tough New Year's recovery.
No, it was good. It was just it was a little later than I anticipated.
Absolutely. So no, we have a good time here, and I always appreciate getting to talk to Danny about this stuff, and we get to have a good time, and we're gonna have a good time here at number 38 once again. So we are live here. Make sure to check it out. We do a whole bunch of watch parties. Danny's got a little bit of something to talk about during the middle of the show as well. So we've got plenty of content, plenty of stuff, and you're going to want to check it out. So make sure to stop down here at number 38 in Rhino. Everybody, really appreciate the love and support on the show. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you can. Would really, really appreciate it. Let's get into last night's game and an unfortunate loss for Denver, where they're up by 9 points in the fourth quarter, had done a lot of great work and had made a lot of great shots. And Jamal Murray had a fantastic first half, and Peyton Watson took over in various points, and Tim Hardaway had some really clutch buckets, and Spencer Jones just playing hard as hell and doing a lot of great stuff. Unfortunately, it was not meant to be. Denver let go of the rope in that fourth quarter. They lose the game 113-108. Overwhelmed, I would say, from a physical perspective. And Denver works so hard. And it's one of those that, as a Nuggets fan, you wish they were able to hold on to. But unfortunately, like when you're starting Deron Holmes in his first ever start as a rookie against Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, like those guys combined for 23 rebounds. The Nuggets as a whole had 32. It was a lot, and it's a heavy burden for the Nuggets to hold on to during this entire time. Danny, in that game last night, Denver, they started small with Deron Holmes at the 5. They have Spencer Jones at the 4, Peyton Watson at the 3, Jalen Pickett and Jamal Murray playing next to each other. They had some pretty good plus minuses across the board with that starting group. Deron Holmes, in his first start, got into foul trouble in the first 80 seconds of the game. He missed the rest of the first quarter. Zeke Naji popped in. I thought Zeke was okay during this game. There were some good things, some bad things. But the real story was Jamal Murray. The real story was Jamal in this first half. He had 28 of his 34 points. Ultimately got tired in the second half. But Danny, I thought that he was fantastic for the vast majority of this game.
Man, he and Donovan Mitchell love playing against each other.
They
bring out the best in each other every time. It's great. It's fun to see that two guys are competing like that on a regular basis. Jamal he's been incredible this year. I'm really happy to see it. It's great for him. It's great for the Nuggets, and now they need it more than ever. Maybe we wanted him to get off to a fast start. It seemed like he's been really solid this year, and now he takes on maybe more of a leadership role than he would have to with Jokic off the court. Yeah. Which I think also will help push him further in his development and make a stronger case for him being an all-star, which he deserves to be this year.
He certainly does, and it's a heavy burden for anybody to carry, but especially when you're missing 4 other starters and some of the gravity and the responsibility that those guys usually have, Jokic especially. Like, it is a very difficult thing for Murray to have to do, but he handled it really well in that first half, especially. Like the Nuggets, like, there was a stretch in that first quarter. I was laughing about this. I laughed about it on Locked On last night, that like Murray took 6 shots in a row at one point or somewhere around there. And he's like clearly labored, clearly in a situation where you're you're hoping for anybody else to step up at some point. And then the very next possession, the defensive possession, Denver has a hardworking defensive possession. They get a stop. Spencer Jones gets a rebound, immediately chucks the ball over to Jamal Murray and is like, all right, do it again. And here, that is a heavy burden for anybody to carry. And Murray did it beautifully in that first half. Second half, it was a little different. Second half, he only scored 6 points. He gassed out a little bit. It wasn't just Murray gassing out. There were a lot of factors as to why it happened. The Cavs started doubling reasonably heavily. I thought Murray made some really great passes and set up some teammates that just didn't make shots. And so it's all part of the game. It's an unfortunate reality that Denver has to face, but they did a good job and did a really nice thing just to even get to that point and leading the way that they did. Danny, I see we got a super chat up here from is that Andrea? Andrea and Damina. Oh my gosh, I can't read. Damiano. Is that am I
yeah, I think
right?
That's right.
Thank you. Hey Ryan, follow the show from Italy. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Always appreciate everybody stopping by and saying where they are from and what they are like, where they are watching the show from. Super cool to be able to check the show out from literally across the pond. So thank you for stopping by and glad we could make an impact. Glad we could be a show that is worth watching at this point. And in like when you're in Italy, in a really awesome place. So I would love to go to Italy. That would be, that's a bucket list item for sure. But Jamal Murray finishes with 34 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. Did a lot of good things. Ultimately, though, went 12 of 28 from the field. 6 of 12 from 3 is a very good number.
Yeah, he's been shooting the ball great from behind the arc.
Unbelievable. There was a stat that flashed up on Prime like relatively early in the game last night that he had shot for the first like 19 or so games of the season 42% from 3. Last 13 games, he shot 50% from 3. Like, just absurd. And a lot of this is without, like, Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon, and then without Cam Johnson, and then without Nikola Jokic. So the fact that he is elevating his efficiency to that degree is really, really impressive and deserves a ton of credit. But ultimately, it comes down to how many games you're going to win and how many games, like, and are you winning those fourth quarters? Are you winning in those situations and putting yourself into the best possible situation to be successful at the end of a game?
Yeah, scoring 11 points in the fourth is no bueno.
It's that's a tough one. It's a tough one. And like, look, it's not just Murray's fault. He actually hit a very late 3 that didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but was a very impressive shot that he was able to hit. He actually does that a fair amount. Like there's some of these late shot clock threes going to his left, falling out of bounds. Like, yeah, I remember him hitting one at Ball Arena just like that earlier this season. But it's clear that he wore down throughout the game, and like completely understandable. And anybody that's watching what he's had to deal with throughout that game understands why it happened. But it did happen, and it's a reality where Denver needed other guys in that situation to step up, and Peyton Watson was one of those guys you would really hope could step up. Only 21 points on 22 shots for Peyton Watson in that game. Interesting stat from J.K. Walrus here. I hope that they could sneak in some rest for him. He's only shot 50% or higher once in a second half in the last 10 games. That is very interesting. And a good little tidbit of information on like the plight that the Nuggets are facing right now and the plight that Murray is facing right now. I've been thinking about that a lot too, where a lot of these second halves, and maybe one of the reasons why Denver's having these struggles is because they are loading up on Murray as much as possible. They are like, if you're the opposition, you know where the bread is buttered for the opposing team right now. And as long as you take out Murray, you are going to be in a pretty good situation. So it's interesting. Now, to be fair, like the numbers at the beginning of the game, numbers at the end of the game, they matter the same in terms of the overall points on the scoreboard. But if you are a Nuggets fan, you want to see Murray be finishing strong. You want to see him in those situations be able to elevate his game in the clutch in the fourth quarter. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Denver's had the clutch struggles, is because they've been playing really well in the first 3 quarters, especially, but really the first half. and then gassing out because they are overburdened at the end of these games. So you hope that Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown can come back. We'll talk about that in a little bit in the second segment here. But I do think that it's a notable thing. Peyton Watson, as I mentioned, 21 points on 22 shots. In the fourth quarter alone, he shot 1 of 7 from the field, and some of the threes that he missed were absolutely crucial for Denver. Deron Holmes also missed some shots in this game. I thought he played reasonably well throughout the game and did a really good job just stepping up and providing some starter minutes. 3 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists for Deron Holmes. I said this on Locked On last night, Danny. I'm a little bit I'm curious as to maybe your perspective on this, because on one hand, Deron Holmes having 6 assists and 0 turnovers is a good thing. Like, he's playmaking, he's seeing the floor, he's making a lot of the right decisions. On the other hand, he is not attacking the rim at all. And there is a perspective to me that so many of those shots and so many of those advantageous situations that Denver's generating in the middle of the floor, you want a guy like Deron Holmes, an athletic power forward center type, to be able to get a shot at the rim that's like 5 or 6 feet away. That's a good shot. It's one of the ones that they often try to generate for Nikola Jokic, for Jonas Valanciunas. And those guys are taking it every single time, unless they are making a sick dump off pass, which Deron did a couple times, but he passed out of a lot of shots at the rim. How do you feel about the way that he played maybe in this first game, this first start, and what are kind of expectations that maybe Nuggets fans should have going forward?
Well, it's one thing I think a lot of people get frustrated with Jokic about when we see games that he's not necessarily very aggressive and attacking, sure, and he's a little more passive. He's given up the ball a lot on offense, but that's very different when you have shooters healthy in the lineup. When they're down guys like they are right now, they need Deron Holmes to be a scoring threat.
Yeah.
So he's got to be attacking that rim. At the same time, this is a pretty good Cavs team. This is a Cavs team that, had they been healthy last year, I think they make a good little run.
Yeah.
So it's largely the same roster. They have good bigs. We talk about Mobley and Jared Allen already. I like both those guys. They're good bigs. They probably wore them out a little on the defensive end, and that makes you have a little bit less on offense. But at the same time, if you're the big in this offense, you kind of have to be a driving force of the offense, even when Jamal Murray is having a good game.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why Jamal Murray is having a good game, is he gets free because the big is a threat in the middle of the floor. Murray, for me, especially for this one, this was really more of a Jamal Murray ISO, Jamal Murray driving against pressure and finding ways to be successful in that regard, more so than maybe some of the other situation.
It was a Jamal Murray versus Donovan Mitchell game, not necessarily a Denver Nuggets versus Cleveland Cavaliers game.
Yeah, and Murray, obviously, it was easier for the Cavs to shut down Murray later in the game because there were threats that the Cavs had all around the floor. There were DeAndre Hunter was making some crazy threes in this game, especially in the corner. Darius Garland hit some threes. There were a lot of other guys on the Cavs that made some important shots. They go 16 of 39 from 3 on the game. Darius Garland went 4 of 8. Lonzo Ball made a couple of crazy threes that was those were very valuable, very important. And so sometimes it happens, and sometimes it goes like that. Back to Deron, I think that's look, for a first start, it was a good one. Straight up, it was a good start. And I
zero turnovers is always a positive.
Of course. And you just have to make the right decisions as often as possible. And he's clearly making the right decisions. But I think that there's growth. There's an opportunity here to get better, to learn, and to continue to make the right plays going forward. I hope that he continues to try to finish strong at the rim. Now, facing Evan Mobley, facing Jared Allen, it's a little bit different. I wonder if facing the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday might feel a little bit different when you're going up against Nick Claxton, who is a decent rim protecting big, but not necessarily super strong, super physical. And then Day'Ron Sharpe and Michael Porter Jr., it's a little bit different in terms of the level of rim protection that you're actually going to get. So I hope that he continues to try to finish strong there. But Some of the threes that he missed were big. There was one late with about like 28, 27 seconds left that if that had gone down, then this is a game and Denver has an opportunity. They generated an open one and he missed it. And like, look, it's going to happen. Sometimes guys are going to miss shots, and that's a really tough place for a rookie in his first start to have to play. But he had to be out there because the alternative was Zeke Naji or going small. And like they trusted Duran in that situation, and I hope that they continue to trust Duran during this stretch while other people are out. But it means other guys are going to have to step up. I thought that Bruce Brown made a couple of really poor turnovers in this game. I thought that some of the shot selection from Tim Hardaway Jr. was relatively poor as well. I think that Peyton Watson missed some shots clearly that needed to go down. And when Jamal's getting doubled and the ball gets rotated over to Peyton and he's got an isolation, they're sagging off. They're daring him to make the shot. He did not hit it. And so that sometimes it happens. And like, it's a learning experience. All of these guys are in very tough spots because of all the injuries. Like everybody's been except for, and even like Jamal, because like Nikola would usually be the guy that's taking the most shots and has the most responsibility in these cases. And Murray's working off of him. Now Murray is the one who's being very responsible for as much of this as possible. And instead you've got like Peyton Watson as the second option, which I mean, how many games did you think that Peyton Watson was going to be the second option this year, Danny? Like I can't imagine
maybe one where they're just resting guys. Yeah.
And that's the thing is like this could happen. But it's usually when Denver would choose for it to happen. Now there's just no choice. Like they have to find ways to do it. So look, tough loss. They only scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. You would hope that they could turn it around and make some additional plays going forward. But yeah, I kind of feel this way. Every close loss that Denver has is going to feel like an absolute backbreaker. Like if you lose by double digits, it is what it is. You're in a really tough situation. But if you've been leading, if you've been in control of the situation, if you have an opportunity to steal a game on the road without Jokic, without some of these other guys, that's a huge deal. Every single time that they don't get it when they're in that position is going to feel like an absolute like backbreaker for this Nuggets team. So I hope that they're in a situation where either they go for it and they win going forward, or they just like maybe rest Murray, maybe rest Peyton Watson at some points. Like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown have played every single game so far. Like there's a lot of reasons I think to either go for it and go really hard, or just take your foot off the gas and do what the Golden State Warriors did last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which was rest all of your important people and not play them and lose by 37. And like sometimes it's going to happen, but it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Mamba Forever in the comments asks, can you please talk about why Adelman keeps bringing screens to Jamal, allowing them to easily double? Poor coaching. I don't think it's poor coaching. I think that like one of the things that you can do in that situation is to generate a 4-on-3. If they're going to hard hedge, if they're going to blitz Murray, Murray's job in that situation is to then pass the ball to the guy that they are doubling off of. And that guy is then supposed to make a read, and it's putting pressure on the other guys in that situation, but it's also a growth opportunity. And we've talked about this before. One of the reasons why you have a regular season in the first place is to be in growth situations, is to give your team an opportunity to get better. And they're in an opportunity where they have to get better, where some of these guys are in these tough situations. Like Spencer Jones, think about how many times like he has been in a growth opportunity over the course of this year, and like they trust him now. Like he's a guy that I just flat out trust. I think that he's really good, especially on the defensive end, but he's also 3 of 5 from 3 in this last game and has been killing it from 3-point range over the course of these last few. So I think that it's not bad coaching. Do I understand what you're saying and that you would prefer Jamal to ISO in that situation? Yes, I get it. I get you'd rather him go one-on-one. But clearly Jamal was also breaking down in that situation, and like he was not necessarily handling it that great. So I do think that there's a balance there. You want other guys to be able to share the burden. That's one way for them to do it. And Denver just needs to execute it better than they did. So it'll be interesting to see. Danny, any final thoughts on Denver and their situation right now, the game last night and just how Denver can handle it?
I'm going to maintain that the Cavs are a good team, and so I think while you're right that even especially the close losses are going to be backbreaking right now.
Yeah,
I think it also does serve a purpose, because I think it helps to have Jamal be mad about losing, and I think it'll help for some of these other guys too, like Peyton Watson, Spencer Jones. I think they have that little bit of dog in the back of them that's like, I don't want to lose these games. And so when you lose them now in the regular season, it makes you more likely to win them down the line, I think.
yeah.
So I'm not 100% like it doesn't matter if they win or lose, but you can still grow from the loss. Like you're talking about, growth period is important.
Yeah, and like the other thing is they're growing from a financial perspective as well. Like Peyton Watson is proving that he can handle some extra minutes, some extra shots. Spencer Jones is proving that he deserves an NBA contract. So these guys are like, it's for a good reason that these guys are like now stepping up and they're proving that they can do what they're doing. It's a good thing. And I know Nuggets fans may not want to hear it because they want to have as many talented players as possible going forward for very cheap prices, and everybody's really good, and you have a very efficient roster as a result. It's not always how it's supposed to work out. So I do think that Denver, like, this is why you got to take advantage. This is why you got to eventually get healthy. It's why you have to eventually figure out the best way to move forward in a good situation. And I do think Denver, despite the fact that they are 1-3 on this road trip, there are some positives that have come out of it. Obviously, more negatives that have come out of it because Jokic is out. But hopefully, get to see some reinforcements come back in these next few games. So there's plenty still to talk about. But let's take a break, Danny. When we come back, we are going to go over a positive report that came out last night from Cassidy Hubbarth of Prime, talking about Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, and especially Nikola Jokic. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about Michael Porter Jr. on the other side here at Pickaxe and Roll.
All right, guys, for our video viewers, you can see that beautiful picture on the screen there of some of our MHS t-shirts. And you can get those t-shirts right here at number 38, where we're doing the show from today. We do a lot of stuff here at 38. Obviously, the studio's here. We also have watch parties for Broncos games. We're doing them for the Buffs as well. We'll have some coming up for the Nuggets soon, so stay tuned for that. But tomorrow, Broncos Chargers, last game of the regular season. We're going to be doing some fun giveaways, giving away some t-shirts. You can compete at halftime for a free pitcher of beer. And then we'll probably have a fun giveaway at the end, maybe something signed by a current or former Bronco. So come on down to number 38 for our watch parties. They're a lot of fun. You can check out the studio while you're here. Some people like to take pictures in it. If I'm around and you see me, just ask. I might let you in if I'm feeling in a generous mood, and it's around the holidays, so I usually am. But come on down for our watch parties. Have some fun with us. And, hey, maybe on a Saturday afternoon, come say hi to me and Ryan while we're doing the podcast over here too. So right here, number 38, we got t-shirts. We got great staff that's going to take care of you, great food, and of course, the Mile High Sports Studios. And we are happy to have you whenever you're here.
Every time we do a show here, I always like to go get some lunch afterwards, and the food is tremendous. They've got a lot of great options. I love, there's been a chicken parmesan sandwich that they've had before. Oh my God.
Very good.
It's just ridiculously good. And so they've got some great burgers, got some great sandwiches, do some pizza as well. So make sure to stop by, make sure to check it out here at number 38 in Rhino. Okay, we are back. Pickaxe and Roll, Ryan Blackburn here. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Would really, really appreciate it. Danny, let's talk about a positive report that came out from Cassidy Hubbarth last night. I tweeted this out and wanted to make sure that everybody saw, and I am glad it went relatively viral last night. Cassidy Hubbarth with a very positive report on the Nuggets on Prime. For Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, they are both trending well to play on this road trip. Denver's, of course, they're 4 games into this road trip out of 7. There are 3 more games that they have yet to play. One of them will be tomorrow on Sunday against the Brooklyn Nets. Then they play a back-to-back against the Philadelphia 76ers on Monday night. And then on Wednesday, they finish up in Boston against the Celtics, who are surprisingly good this year. They are 21-12. It's like everybody other than Brooklyn has been pretty good. Brooklyn is 5-5 in their last 10, but they're missing Michael Porter last night. And Philly has been better than I think people expected because they have, actually, it's because they play in the Eastern Conference. If we're being honest, that's the actual reason. But I do think that Denver, with Aaron Gordon, with Christian Brown, if those guys were to come back on this road trip, that's a very positive sign. You obviously would love to get any possible reinforcements that you can. And those guys have been trending in that direction for a while. Christian Brown has been trending in that direction for a while. It's taken a little bit more time than I think maybe he expected, maybe the Nuggets expected. But I do think that on this road trip at some point was the expectation for both of those guys based off of the timing and the windows and things like that. So Denver, good positive stuff, good positive opportunity for Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon to come back. But the other one was Jokic, was Jokic specifically. According to Cassidy Hubbarth from the Prime report last night, Nuggets are pleasantly surprised by his progress. And obviously, if you have been paying attention online, you've seen some videos come out of him walking around at these arenas. He's been with the team for much of this time in the background. He's been doing stationary bike work. And of course, so the injury that he has is a hyperextension to the left knee, a bone bruise in his left knee. And the initial timetable that the Nuggets gave for that was, hey, we'll reevaluate him in 4 weeks. That was the standard timetable that they gave. But they are pleasantly surprised by his progress. He's been doing bike work, using stairs. He's in a good place. The Nuggets are happy with how he has responded and how his knee has responded to this time. And so the thought process behind that, Danny, is that maybe you get Jokic back a little bit sooner than you would expect. And it's not necessarily a 4-week timetable that he's out, or like that's the max that it is, rather than, hey, reevaluate in 4 weeks and it needs another week or something like that. I think that Jokic is going to come back sooner than expected. And that obviously for every Nuggets fan is a very good sign.
Great sign. Doesn't surprise me in the least. The man is an absolute beast.
Tank.
Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's crushing his rehab. He's obviously got good genes. So yeah, he's gonna be all right. It's great. I would love to have it. Yeah, exactly. I would love to have him back sooner than 4 weeks, but also no reason to rush it, right? It's a little different without Jonas, but it's a great sign. So yeah. Shout out Cassidy for the positive news.
Yeah, Cassidy's been great. She's a tremendous reporter for what Prime does, not for what anybody does, frankly. I have really always appreciated Jokic and his pain tolerance. He has had for a long time a wrist injury that he has dealt with to his shooting hand. That has been, for most guys, would be something that they get surgery on at some point. Jokic has never done that. He has toughed it out. He has played through it for the vast majority of his career. There are plenty of other nicks and knacks that he has suffered through for his career. He's come back very early. It is a Jokic thing. It is a Serbian thing. It is a belief in, like, if I am good to play, I am going to play. And pain is just a construct. Pain is just something that we don't have to worry about. It's temporary. Dude is an unbelievable, mentally tough athlete. I don't know if there's another athlete that I think is more mentally tough at this point than Jokic that I've been able to cover. And like Murray's pretty close, but what Jokic is consistently able to do is pretty crazy. So we think about the timetable. We think about what 4 weeks actually means. If it's only 4, if it is no longer than that, then it would be about January 27th or something when he would come back. That's around game 50 of the season. If it's sooner than that, and you could get back a little bit sooner, then, hey man, like, I know everybody wrote him off for MVP. I know everybody wrote him off for, like, hey, he's not gonna qualify for these awards, not gonna be out there for these awards. What if he is? Like, he didn't miss any games before that, but like, I'm just thinking about Denver's schedule and thinking about, okay, what if he misses 10 games, then still play 72? Like that's well within the 65 game threshold. 10 games would basically put him into a situation where, all right, he's out for 2 to 3 weeks. But what if it's only 3 weeks? What if that's the thing that we're kind of dealing with now, and Jokic is back at it, ready to go? It would be very interesting because a lot of these books took him off the board for MVP awards and any post season awards. It'll be very interesting to see how the general public handles it if he comes back and the Nuggets are immediately great again and he's putting up 30-point triple doubles as he often does.
I think it's also like it probably shouldn't be, but it's an argument in his favor for MVP if he comes back quicker and he's still that impactful. And Kenyon Martin was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast talking about how the 65 game rule is messing with people's legacies. If you see what Jokic is doing, and just because he didn't play enough games, he can't win the award, which I see where he's coming from. And I respect Kenyon Martin. I love Kenyon Martin, but the rule's in place for a reason. Yeah. And I think it's valid.
Of course.
You have to play most of the season to win MVP.
There was a year back in 2020, I'm pretty sure. And now part of that was because the season was shortened due to COVID. But Giannis won that year and only played about 61, 62 games or so. He was so dominant in those games that it honestly didn't matter. Like the Bucks were the 1 seed and he, like, they were so good during that stretch. And now if you're the Lakers and LeBron James that year, and you're pretty upset that like LeBron was MVP caliber that year and lost to a guy that only played X amount of games. And if you were a Nuggets fan, and if Joel Embiid had won when he played 57 or something like that, you would be pretty upset about the way that happened. So if you're a Thunder fan and you're thinking, okay, well, Shea's going to play 74 and they're going to win 70 as a team or something like that, you're probably thinking, well, that guy clearly deserves it over a guy that played 64 games and his team only won 54 or whatever's ultimately going to come from that. I understand that perspective. If I'm them, I totally get it. But I also think that Jokic is so clearly the best player in the world right now, and the way that he's playing and the way that he is putting the team on his back when he is out there, that like I just don't care. Like if you're out there and you're dominating the way the Jokic is, then there should be a perspective that allows that to happen. But I do agree that there's a certain threshold that you have to play above in that case. If Jokic is only playing 64 games versus 74, like that's 10 possible games that you're losing because your MVP is not on the floor. So aside from that, like the award stuff doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. The good thing,
and we know Jokic doesn't care. Maybe he doesn't care, but he's not chasing it like some other people.
Certainly not chasing it. Like let's just say the first thing that came to his mind when he got the knee injury was not, I'm gonna lose the MVP. Like that's not the first thing that came to mind for that guy. I'll say that. But it is something that, like, I mean, he thinks about. He thinks that like he is the best at this point, and has proven that he is the best. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see where it progresses to. But still, good news. The most important thing in all of this is that if Jokic is back any sooner than 4 weeks, like the Nuggets are still in a place where they could get a top 4 seed. They're still in a place where they're in a really good position from a seeding standpoint. I'm looking at it right now. They are currently 4th. Unfortunately, Houston has only played 31 games, so they are in a position where they are just ahead of Denver in the standings from a percentage standpoint, 67.7% versus 67.6%. So congratulations to the Houston Rockets for having one of the easiest schedules alive.
Yeah, crazy because they're 7 games behind OKC, and the Nuggets are only 6.5 games behind, but their Nuggets are lower.
Yeah, that's a wild thing to look at, but you're 100% right about it. Yeah, Denver, like, they're in a position right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games. They were already losing a couple of games initially that they shouldn't have lost. And now you're without Jokic for this period of time. The hope is that you get it back. The hope is that you can stay attached. But yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now. The Phoenix Suns are 20-14, and they're in 7th place. They are 3 games behind the Nuggets. It is perfectly within reason to think that Phoenix could overtake Denver in the standings, and the Nuggets are suddenly in the play-in. So you got to win as many games as possible. You got to just survive as much as possible, and then hope when Jokic comes back that you can go on a run at that point. We will see whether it actually happens or not.
I do think last night is a positive sign that they can weather this storm a little bit.
Well, we'll see.
Because even if the clutch defense wasn't necessarily there and they didn't score enough in the fourth quarter, they were close against a good ball team.
Yeah, and like the Cavs are a good ball team. I'm not sure they're a great ball team for sure. Like the way that they've played this year, they are flawed. And the way that they approached that game last night, it's like they forgot that they were big for some reason. They've got 2 7-footers that you can go to on a consistent basis, but Donovan Mitchell is very happy taking pull-up threes and just driving to the rim and shooting floaters over people for much of this time. And I'm like, I don't know, like, what you guys are doing? Like, just throw the ball to Evan Mobley and run some pick and roll and let him dunk over people. I don't understand why they didn't do that 46 times last night, but is what it is. I mean, like, Kenny Atkinson is in an interesting place as the Cavs coach. I'll say that. I will say that, the Nuggets probably need to win tomorrow. They probably, if I agree with what you said in terms of them, like they're in a good place. They can still weather the storm, but it's games like tomorrow that they have to win. Michael Porter and the Brooklyn Nets are going to play host to the Nuggets tomorrow. I'm not sure if Michael Porter is going to play. I don't actually remember what the injury is that he had that was keeping him out of this last game. But he did miss, and he is one of the very important pieces for the Brooklyn Nets this year. It's one of the only reasons why they have been, like, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games. They're actually having a pretty solid defense. They've been trusting Michael Porter with a lot of the offensive responsibility, and then other guys have been really amping up the defensive responsibility and trying to play as hard on that end as possible. And so they've turned around their season a little bit. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs or anything like that, but they, despite, like, with all the young guys that they are playing, the Brooklyn Nets are a pretty solid ball club right now. They're not great, but they're not terrible. And so Denver is in this situation where, this is a 50-50 game. This is one where you probably, like, it wouldn't have been a 50-50 game if Jokic was out there, if a whole bunch of the other starters are out there, and maybe Denver gets some reinforcements from Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown over the course of this next day. I don't think that they're actually going to, but we'll see. We'll see whether they can actually come back for that one or if they save it for the back-to-back in Philly. But I think that Denver, if they can get through this one tomorrow, that'll be okay. Like, they'll survive the road trip. They'll go 2-5. Like, if they lose to Philly, lose to Boston, you would hope that you could get at least another one beyond a game tomorrow. But, like, they're in a situation where it's almost becoming must win, Danny. Like, they kind of have to really make up get another 50-50 game to go in their favor, as opposed to having another 50-50 game lose, because they had that against Orlando on the first game of the road trip. Obviously, the Miami game was a blowout because Jokic went down and everybody was worried that he had torn his ACL. It didn't happen, and everybody's thankful for that. But Denver was beside themselves emotionally, I think, in that game. Then they won in Toronto, and then they lost in Cleveland and lost a 50-50 game. So
and before that, the Dallas game, I feel like, was a 50-50. Yeah. I love watching Cooper Flagg. I think he plays ethical basketball, as we discuss in this market a lot.
Yes,
but I mean, shoot, they should have won that game against the Mavs for sure.
They needed to win they've had a variety of those. Like, the Orlando one was really tough because they were up in that one and then ultimately let it go, and a lot of it was the defensive responsibility. The Mavs game was one that they obviously needed to get. They didn't get that one. They've had plenty of these games where
shouldn't have lost to the Blazers.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't have lost to Golden State opening night. Like,
there you go.
Should have lost to Chicago. Like, there's plenty of games that you could point to and say, it's probably needed to take care of that one.
So hopefully that means that on this road trip, then some of them will swing back in their favor at the end of games. And we'll see, because MPJ is playing pretty well right now. And I think he's going to be hungry to do well against this team, at least when they play Brooklyn.
Have you seen his numbers lately? Like, have you seen what he's been able to accomplish as the leader for Brooklyn so far? Like, it is very impressive.
I'm really impressed and happy for him.
I'm happy for him too.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a place that he would really want to be. New York. He seems like the kind of guy that would like the the glitz and the glamour. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if the Ice Spice rumors are true, but that's the kind of girlfriend that he would have. So
yes, it is. Like,
doesn't surprise me.
I mean, that dude is Kardashian adjacent. Like, in terms of Devin Booker,
Yeah, he is.
and some of these other guys. Like, I mean, Michael Porter is exactly like the kind of guy that would I think seek out those kinds of relationships. So we'll see whether that actually happens or not. But shout out Ice Spice as always on this program.
I'm just glad he's not with Sophie Cunningham. I saw those rumors and I was a little nervous, but
what a time to be alive. I'm looking at the numbers right now. Porter is currently, as I try to make this a little bit bigger for my bad eyes, 16th in the NBA in points per game at 25.8. Like, that's a pretty good number. And like, that's in between James Harden and
All-Star this year. Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.
I don't know.
First year All-Stars together.
I mean, the East is really weak. It's really bad. Can you really justify having Evan Mobley in the All-Star game with what you saw yesterday? Like, absolutely not. Like, that dude has been pretty disappointing for this year. Paolo Banchero, can you really justify having Paolo Banchero over Michael Porter?
I think just because of like star power.
But like, even then, like, if you just look up straight up numbers, like, Michael Porter's been way better than somebody like Paolo this year.
True.
And so, like, Orlando probably doesn't deserve to have an all-star, despite the fact that they are a pretty solid team. They've got a lot of good guys, but not a lot of great guys this year. There's some other guys in the East. Obviously, Giannis will make it. He's only played 21 games. Jaylen Brown will make it. Donovan Mitchell will make it. Tyrese Maxey will make it. There's some names, but like, not enough that you could realistically say that Michael Porter doesn't deserve to be there. So, like, he's got 25 points per, nearly,
especially
26
with Tatum
points per
out.
game.
That's one more name that you get to take out of the hat. Yeah,
plenty. There's plenty of names. He's nearly at 50% from the field, 41% from three on 9 threes per game. Dude is lacing it right now. He is 7.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 2.3 turnovers. He's a little bit higher turnover than he would usually be. The defense is not exactly like stellar. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it is.
Surprises no one.
If he gets a block, it's like, holy crap, Michael Porter got a block. That's different from how it was in Denver, where he was a little bit more invested in some of the role player stuff and doing some of those things. But it really is interesting to see him take a star turn and be in a situation where, yeah, he wasn't really able to spread his wings in Denver. That was not something that was within the purview for what the Nuggets were trying to do. They were like in a different situation where Jokic is the star. You're operating that style of offense. Murray is the guy that augments what he does with the two-man game. And I think you can be of two minds about it as a Nuggets fan. You can be like, okay, well, really wish that we had unlocked Porter during this time and tried to take advantage of that skill set at least a little bit more than has been taken advantage of so far. But also, like, they won a championship. They literally won a championship asking Michael Porter to get to the corner and do role player things.
Yeah, I don't think it diminishes how valuable he was to that championship team and all the other teams that he was a part of that made decent runs. Like, he was very valuable. And when he bought in and when he was healthy, he had some games where he was downright dominant.
Yeah.
He couldn't miss. And when his shot is pure, it's pure. And now, just because he gets a chance to shoot more and more every game and actually be in a rhythm every single game, which is something that I think we saw him struggle with here.
Yeah.
It was tough for him to get into a rhythm because he was that number 3, number 4 option.
Yeah, like
he never had a chance sometimes, and it's not on him, but he did play his role really well when they asked him to, and credit to him for that.
Sometimes there were full quarters where he would take 1 or 0 shots. And those were the ones where everybody that's like, hey, this guy's really talented, you should probably get him involved. As where everybody is like, hey, I mean, kind of should probably do something about this. But there was never a question about the talents, never a question about the actual ability. I do think that when they narrowed his game as much as they did, it was very difficult for him within the season, within the game, within the stretch that they were at, to just be like, okay, now go get a bucket. Now go do the things that you're doing in Brooklyn. Just unlimited, unlimited trigger finger, like just doing everything that you can to like stay as confident as possible. That was not something that they could do on a consistent basis, that he could do on a consistent basis, because they had reduced his role as much as they did. And so if you want to blame somebody like Michael Malone, I understand why. I get it. Like, this is, you see this talent, and you've seen a lot with a lot of guys that have left Denver where they've been able to spread their wings and do some more things. Like Michael Porter is just another example of that. But you have to buy in. And I think that what we've seen from Jamal Murray this year as well is that he was also sacrificing while Michael Porter was out there. He was also like all these guys are sacrificing and trying to take on like less responsibility, augment what Jokic does on a consistent basis. And then like he gets to look good and he's the all-star, he's the MVP, he's the guy that is really the driving force. Everybody is very willing to buy in that situation, as they should be, because he's so good and he is so selfless in the way that he does it for everybody else. Like they're more than willing to buy in, and Michael Porter was more than willing to buy in. But it's also a different stretch of his career now. It's also a different place where he can try new things, and he doesn't have to be in Denver the entire time. And we kind of knew that this was going to happen. This was something that we had felt pretty strongly about, that Michael Porter was not going to finish his career as a Denver Nugget. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be. Like, he's still a champion. He's still somebody that's very valuable for what the Nuggets have done. But it means that he's got to take his own time and got to go his own path. And he's more than willing to do that and talented enough that he deserves the opportunity to do so, Danny.
Yeah, he definitely likes to take his own path.
That's
I
true.
still really like Michael Porter Jr. Obviously,
course,
I am happy for him. Happy for him. But yeah, like you said, nobody expected him to be here his whole career.
Got some weird views. Got some interesting perspectives on life. And like look, he's more than it's within his purview to do that. And like he's curious Mike as often is, and so has a lot of interesting perspectives. And so it's Danny's posing in the background there. Should have needed
this is
to
what
see
he did
that.
in his wasn't that like his podcast cover?
Oh, I gotta love
Curious Mike.
Curious Mike, baby. I'm glad for him. I'm glad that he is in a situation where he gets to spread his wings a little bit. I'm glad for the Nuggets. Now, it's unfortunate that Cam Johnson sustained the injury that he did. And like it is sort of the prophecy of what everybody was worried about when you trade for Cam Johnson, is that Michael Porter's relatively, although he's only played 21 games. Like, it's not like he's been playing an extensive amount. But like Cam Johnson is now out, and Denver needs to rediscover how he can be valuable for this team and continue to augment this team, especially around what Jokic and Murray have done. But he was well on his way to doing that.
Yeah, he was starting to pick up steam for sure.
Yeah, so when everybody gets healthy and gets together, I think this team's going to look like an absolute wagon. Like, this team's going to look really good, especially with the stuff that they've had to learn on their own. They're figuring out different things, and now it's about tying the room together once again. So we'll see if they can do that. But will be interesting to see what Denver can do against Brooklyn tomorrow. Danny, got any predictions?
I don't know if I have predictions. I have hopes. I hope that Duran has a good game. I hope he finds his shot a little bit more and feels that aggressive offensive mentality that we didn't see last night. But also health is my greatest desire for this team right now.
I mean, how could it not be at this point? They're the walking wounded at this point, just trying to get through life. So we'll see whether they can do it. I'm hopeful that they can dig deep, find a way. Would be nice to get a big Bruce Brown game or something from the bench. Would be nice to get as Murray. I expect Murray to continue to be pretty good. But could Deron Holmes finish around the rim a little bit? Could Zeke Naji finish around the rim a little bit? Could Spencer Jones continue to, I mean, he's had 13 points last night. How much do we realistically want to get more from him? Maybe it's a slightly more efficient performance from Peyton Watson. And then Denver, of course, if they can lock in defensively, that would really help. So
maybe a big shooting night from Strawther too. It would be good to see some more minutes out of Julian and some more offense out of him for sure.
Yeah, they got to get something from Julian. That would be good. That would be valuable. But we will see. Everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Pickaxe and Roll here at number 38. Make sure if you are in the Rhino area, stop by, check us out. Let's see what Rhino and what number 38 has to offer. Got the fun patio outside. It's still been warm enough to use the patio. I can't believe it, but like it's been warm enough for sure. Always appreciate the love and support on the podcast as always, folks. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you to Danny once again for stopping by, Danny. Always appreciate the love and support from you as well.
Yeah, great to be with you.
Everybody, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys on Monday.